Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, picture this. You're in Baghdad, the jewel of the ancient world.
Hmm.
A body is discovered. It's inside a locked chest, just floating down the great Tigris River.
And the ruler, the powerful caliph, he is enraged.
Right. He gives his chief minister, the Vizier Jafar, an ultimatum. Find the killer in 3 days.
Or you're the one who dies. Jafar faces the executioner's sword. It's a drama of the absolute highest stakes.
And we're pulling this directly from the sources on the fatal harvest of the 3 apples.
Yeah, a story that's been, it's been thrilling audiences for over 1,000 years.
Our mission today is, more than just solving this really gruesome locked chest mystery.
Right.
We're actually investigating a foundational text. This isn't just a great tale from 1001 Nights.
No, it's arguably one of the very first examples of detective fiction in world literature.
And the entire plot, the fate of a great vizier, it all hinges on this single bizarre clue.
3 rare pieces of fruit.
3 apples.
What's fascinating here is how quickly the stakes are set. And just how massive they are.
Yeah.
We're in the court of Caliph Harun al-Rashid. And for those who might not know, the caliph was the supreme ruler.
Political and religious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Jafar was his vizier, his chief advisor, a position of just unimaginable power.
And yet, his life is instantly disposable if he fails his ruler.
That context is so crucial. Harun al-Rashid wasn't just some, distant figure sitting in a palace.
Not at all. The sources tell us he often wandered Baghdad in disguise.
With Jafar and the swordsman Masroor, right?
So this wasn't some academic investigation passed down the chain of command.
No, it was a street-level discovery by the supreme authority himself.
So when the crime is discovered, it's not just a murder.
It's a public violation of the caliph's peace.
Right.
Right in the heart of his capital.
Okay, so let's look at the victims before the crime is even found. The story starts with what the sources call perfect happiness. We meet Nur al-Din, a young man, handsome, wealthy. And he didn't just love a slave girl named Anis al-Jalis.
No, he specifically bought her freedom.
Right, so he could marry her, and they could build a life together.
It's a beautiful detail, really. It emphasizes the gravity of what's about to be lost. This was a relationship built on love and respect, not ownership.
But their happiness is, tragically, very short-lived. Nur al-Din leaves on a long trading journey.
And while he's gone, that's when the tragedy unfolds. Anis al-Jalis is abducted.
A reckless young man forces his way into their home.
And when Nur al-Din returns, his home is empty. He searches the entire city. He's just completely distraught. But there's no trace of his wife.
And this is when the caliph's evening stroll takes a very dark turn.
Right. Harun al-Rashid, Jafar, Masroor, they're all walking along the Tigris.
The river was Baghdad's lifeline, but also its silent disposer of secrets.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They see this sealed, locked, wooden chest just floating by.
And when they get it open,
Inside is the body of a beautiful young woman stabbed to death. It's Anis al-Jalis.
the sources are so clear about this, the caliph flew into a rage.
Well, yeah, it's a direct challenge to his rule.
Of course. Finding a sealed corpse just discarded that means someone is acting with absolute impunity in his city.
And that rage is the fuel for the terrifying ultimatum he gives to Jafar.
His most loyal servant.
And that ultimatum is the real driving mechanism of the mystery, isn't it?
It is. Find the murderer within 3 days.
Or I will hang you in his place.
Just think about the sheer political embarrassment. He walks out on the streets and finds a body in a chest.
So Jafar has 3 days to save his own life and, by extension, save the caliph's reputation.
Imagine that pressure cooker. Jafar, the vizier of the greatest empire.
He uses all his resources. He questions thousands, searches every alley.
Offers huge rewards.
But the murder of Anis al-Jalis leaves absolutely no trace. Nothing.
The killer was clearly meticulous. So for 2 days and 2 nights, the clock is just ticking towards 0.
He's a man who is actively preparing to die. The 3rd day arrives, and Jafar has completely failed.
He returns home to bid farewell to his family, basically accepting his fate.
This is maximum tension. The mystery is, it's truly unsolvable by any conventional means.
But the real answer, the bizarre key to the entire case, was about to walk right into his living room.
Completely by accident.
Jafar is in the middle of this tragic farewell when his youngest daughter comes running in.
And she's holding the single most unexpected and vital piece of evidence in the whole story.
She's holding 3 rare red apples.
Apples she was saving specifically to give to her father as a gift.
The fate of the most powerful vizier in the world rests on a small child's innocent treasure.
Now, this is where the depth of the clue really matters. These weren't just, any apples.
Not apples from an orchard down the street. The sources make a big point of their rarity.
That's the critical detail we have to emphasize. They were rare, imported apples, a clear marker of luxury, expense, privilege.
Right.
In a city like Baghdad, an item that rare isn't random. It instantly connects whoever has it to a specific wealthy household.
So, Jafar, he's resigned to death. He barely notices them. But he asks the simple question.
Where did you get these?
And her reply is the stunning, horrifying turning point that saves his life, but it completely destroys his world.
Yeah. She replies so innocently, "My big brother gave them to me."
He said he stole them from the garden of a beautiful lady in our house.
The lady our father killed and threw into a chest in the river.
Wow.
The child is connecting all the dots without understanding the monumental gravity of her words.
Jafar's blood ran cold. I can't imagine that realization.
No.
Knowing you have hours left to live only to discover the killer is the person you raise.
And the apples connect the location, his own house, and the crime, the body in the chest, through the most innocent messenger possible.
It's an immediate aha moment for Jafar. A horrible one.
It is, but if we connect this to the bigger picture, it highlights something really distinct about these early detective stories.
What's that?
True discovery here isn't about, traditional evidence gathering. It's not meticulous deduction.
Right, it's not Sherlock Holmes.
Not at all. It's about fate, pure chance, and this circumstantial truth being revealed by a child's honesty about stolen goods.
So Jafar doesn't waste a moment. He immediately rushes to confront his elder son.
And the sources make a specific note here. This was a son from another wife.
And he demands the truth. About the apples, about the missing woman.
And the son just breaks down. He gives the full tragic confession.
So while Jafar was out there turning the city upside down,
the son had seen Anis al-Jalis alone, was overcome by desire, and had abducted her.
Brought her back to the vizier's own residence.
Yeah, and when she resisted fiercely, he murdered her in a panic, sealed her body in the chest, and then dumped it in the Tigris.
The crime unfolded right under the vizier's nose.
Unbelievable.
But wait a minute. If the crime was solved just by coincidence and a confession, doesn't that make Vizier Jafar, essentially incompetent?
That's an excellent point.
He failed at the actual investigation. Does the source address that failure, or does it just focus on the outcome?
It does.
Yeah.
But indirectly. Jafar's ultimate act of loyalty, immediately seizing his own son and presenting him to the caliph.
That sort of overrides his failure to detect the crime.
Exactly. He does the only honorable thing. He sacrifices his son to fulfill his duty.
So he brings the son before the caliph, along with the grieving husband, Nur al-Din, whom he'd finally found.
And the caliph listens to this just, astonishing tale of the 3 apples.
And the judgment here is where the story gets incredibly nuanced.
Right, because Harun al-Rashid was moved by Jafar's honesty in the tragic chain of events.
Given how severe the initial ultimatum was, Jafar was supposed to die, the pardon he gives is pretty surprising.
It's a twofold pardon, which really speaks volumes about the priorities of ancient governance.
The son was pardoned because of his youth, which shows an element of mercy.
And Jafar was pardoned because of his loyalty and his indispensable service to the state.
So justice isn't just simple retribution here. It's about context, political expediency.
At the end of the day, the caliph needed Jafar, and Jafar had just proved his loyalty was absolute, even over his own family.
And the caliph makes sure there's justice for the husband. Nur al-Din received generous compensation, gold, a high position in the court.
And the story ends, at least for the caliph, with that famous observation directed right at Jafar.
See how 3 apples solved the mystery that all Baghdad could not?
A remarkable ending.
It really is. That one line perfectly frames the whole story. So now we get to the so what. Beyond the incredible plot, why is this story still taught and studied today?
It's just so vital because of its historical significance. The Tale of the Three Apples is one of the earliest detective stories in world literature.
Centuries before modern examples.
Exactly. It lays out the whole structure. The impossible crime, the ticking clock, the desperate detective.
And the unexpected single clue that solves everything.
It's a blueprint for the locked room mystery.
But what defines this pre-modern detection is the methodology, right? In later fiction, like with Edgar Allan Poe, the solution comes from meticulous, rational deduction.
Whereas our hero, Jafar, he solves nothing through reason. He was saved by serendipity.
By fate, delivering the answer through an honest child and some stolen fruit.
And this raises a really important question for you, the listener. When does an accidental revelation cross the line and become true detection?
Yeah.
When Sherlock Holmes examines trace elements on a boot, he's applying rigorous human intellect. When Jafar finds the killer, he's relying entirely on divine chance.
It defines a whole pre-forensic era of justice, while Holmes is looking for fingerprints and bloodstains.
Jafar just needed a daughter who liked rare imported fruit.
It shows detection as this blend of human effort, political pressure, and just sheer luck.
And the complexity of that part is equally significant. The Caliph, as the ultimate dispenser of justice, shows that mercy and loyalty can sometimes outweigh the strict demands of the law.
It's a lesson in governance, not just criminal procedure. So, okay, let's unpack this. We've walked through the whole chain of events. You now know the terrifying stakes for Vizier Jafar, the identities of the couple, and the crucial, bizarre function of those three rare red apples.
Yeah, the entire fate of a vizier, the life of his son, and the justice for a murdered woman.
All of it hinged on 3 pieces of stolen high-end produce.
Absolutely. The tale is a powerful reminder that fate works in the strangest ways.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the multiple layers of coincidence that were required. The son had to steal those specific rare apples.
The Caliph had to be walking by the river on that specific night.
And the daughter had to choose that exact moment to bring the apples forward as a gift.
Any break in that chain and Jafar would have been hanged.
Without a doubt. The biggest lessons and the solutions to the greatest mysteries often come from the smallest, most accidental, most overlooked details.
It challenges us to look beyond the obvious evidence.
The tale leaves us with this notion that sometimes the only way to solve an impossible crime is for the truth to simply speak for itself.
Through the most unexpected voice.
Exactly.
May every mystery in your life be solved as unexpectedly and with mercy.